I wanted to ask you, obviously you go week to week with your scheme and your plan, but the last 2 weeks, or really the last 3 weeks, with the quarterback who, like Kyler and especially Lamar, want to get out there, I would imagine you have to approach it at differently in all three levels and how things come together. Logan was talking about it yesterday, the idea that now the challenges are different now in all three levels. You face an offense like this. How do you approach it? He kind of said, you throw last week in the trash because whatever you try to do against Baltimore is not necessarily going to be the plan to go against Dallas. How do you approach that going into this week and trying to stop this offense as opposed to what you've done the last couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, the game plan is going to be different. It's a different offense, different people. That's the obvious part of it. In terms of last week or the previous weeks, here's the thing I try to do. I try to learn from everything. So, whether it's the specifics of a game plan or not, there's fundamental stuff that has to improve. And so you try to take inventory of that and just try to make sure that, as we get to practice, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we work on the stuff that showed up in the previous weeks that we know we have to get better at. Because here's the bottom line, as people talk about, Dallas is the focus, but our daily focus is to get better every day. So we got to do a better job tackling. We got to do a better job. I got to do a better job coaching it up, whether it's the tackling, the scheme, whatever. So, that's what I take from any other previous week. I'm just trying to learn from that week and what we could do better. And so, I think you always have to, for me at least, I can speak for myself, I'm trying to learn from my past experiences and try to and see how it could play into the game. But do you throw away the game plan? You could say that, but we do that every week. Every week is new in the NFL. So it's definitely going to be different. You're dealing with a different animal with the skilled players, the offensive line is different. The scheme is different, but, it's still football. We got to tackle. We got to play our leverage and coverage. You got to defend the deep part of the field. So a lot of stuff, there's still carryover. No matter what you do, it's still carryover.
Rob? And one of the things that was talked a lot about when you guys were playing at a high level and winning games was disguise and being able to jump from one scheme to another. Have you gotten away from that recently? Have quarterbacks caught up to it, or what's going on? And can you get back to it?
Well, I think disguise. I don't know too many defenses. I've experienced in my 12 years in the league. If you're really, really good at what you do and then you might not disguise. But most defenses disguise no matter who they are. So I think that's always a part of what we do. Whether it's third down, early down, we're going to try to disguise. I can't speak for what the other offenses are doing in terms of whether we're not doing a good job or what have you. I know this. We haven't done enough to win, so that's not a good enough job. But here's the thing, and the beauty of this league, it's week 17. We got another opportunity. We're playing Dallas. That stuff is behind us. The win-loss part of it is. The lessons learned from it are stuff that we could carry over to help us improve for this week. So, if disguise is part of it, then disguise will be part of it. But I know this. We're going to go out there, practice today, try to improve. Disguise will be part of it in terms of trying to get better at that. But that's just one facet of what we do in terms of our improvement, Tom, so.
Pat, the Dallas receiving core, obviously, when people think of Dallas, they think of Ezekiel Elliott. But how much of a challenge is this receiving core? Is it the best one you guys have faced top to bottom this year?
Top to bottom. I hate doing that, Ryan, because, I'm trying to get ready for practice. I don't want to dismiss it, but they're good. They're good. They got some skilled guys and the thing that shows up to me is the guys that go in there and block. I'm always fascinated by that. Okay, here they are. They're getting all these accolades. Are they blocking? When you see that, then one is being coached. So, I got a lot of respect for Coach McCarthy. Adam Henry's a good friend of mine, the wide receivers coach. So I know his toughness and what he's trying to instill in those guys. So it's a challenge. Are they the best group we've seen? I'm not dismissive of other groups. I would say they're one of the best. So we got a big challenge in front of us. But, again, how it is with Dallas. It starts with the run game, though. It starts with the run game. Practice today is an opportunity for us to get back to what we got to do, stopping the run. But it starts with the run game and the backs they have back there, Pollard, Elliott, those guys. And then also you tie into Dalton when he gets the checks in there. They're pretty good.
Duggan?
Hey, Pat, I know that the answer and the topic is probably more complex, but I'm going to ask it in sort of a simple way. Yeah. Do you think opposing offenses have sort of figured out your zones? It just feels like those intermediate throws the last 3 weeks, they've really been hitting those with frequency.
Figure out our zones. I mean, like, to me, I can't speak for the other team, but I mean, I got to do a better job of coaching, and I got to do a better job of coaching and laying out the plan, and I got to do a better job of calling it, mixing in zone and man, stuff like that. I don't know if they're figuring it out. I mean, it's football. These guys get paid too, so I mean, and they got good players, so they execute. So it's just a matter of I got to coach better. I got to do a better job, and, I'm working on that every day, just trying to get better. So, hopefully I have a good day of practice, just trying to get the guys in the right spots, and then, all leading towards Sunday where we can execute.
Pat Leonard.
Hey, Pat. 2 quick questions. Blake Martinez said the other day that that a lot of defensive players were not aligned properly when the Ravens motioned or shifted before the snap. And I was wondering why that would be when guys were, I would assume, coached to prepare for that, and it wasn't really anything different than what they normally did.
Well, I can't speak for Blake, and Blake speaks for himself. I know this going into the Cowboys game and starting today. We got to walk through here momentarily. I got to do a good job of explaining based on formation, based on personnel, where we got to align. I got to do a good job with that. I got to get guys with their eyes in the right place so that they're able to execute. That's my job as a coach. So, that's a big part of what my job description is. Put them in the right place, get their eyes in the right place so they can play ball. But I can't speak for what Blake said. I mean, to me, I'm worried about Dallas right now, and I know this. They give you formations and they leverage you. We got to get lined up to that stuff, and I'm going to do my best to prepare the guys for that today.
We'll take.
Hey, Pat, what's going on? I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, Happy New Year.
Same to you.
I'm curious what you thought. I mean, you're obviously watched plenty of that Dallas game the first time. Mm-hmm. What do you think when you were watching your defense at that time?
It's funny. You watch it, and, I'm sure a lot of you guys have kids, and I'm not comparing the guys to kids. I'm just talking about the growth that happens over a certain period of time. And you see guys that, some plays that were there to make, and now they're making those plays. Or, some really, to me, not even the plays, let's not even talk about it. Let's talk about just awareness, like some of the situational awareness, formational awareness, like stuff like that. That's what shows up over time. I think I mentioned it earlier in the year. It takes time to build a defense and to build all those things that are intertwined within, starting to play good football, because, again, you could be the most physical. Yeah, okay, you can have the right call. I don't know how many calls coordinators around the league are calling to be unsound. It's about the guys knowing how to execute, when to execute, and having some recognition of the people and the situation. And when you look at games earlier in the year and you see the growth as it goes, you can really see that. It jumps off the tape in terms of when you're watching that. So that's one thing I did notice, Jordan, when I'm looking at it. I'm like, these guys have improved as football players. But that usually happens, especially when you're dealing with a young group. They get better with experience.
Well, that's why I asked you, because I was kind of wondering, this is year one of your defense here. Mm-hmm. It took you a while to install. You didn't
our
really
defense,
have
our defense. Right. Our defense.
You won't take credit for it, I got it. But, where are you in the overall progression of this defense? Is it still in its infantile stages in your mind? Are you there? Is there still a lot more that you see you can add that can grow?
Infantile, I do like that word. So see, when I hear good words, I incorporate them later on. So be ready.
It's not stealing. It's borrowing. Remember.
Where are we at? Here's the thing. I want to be playing our best football post Thanksgiving. That's how you look at when we start the season, and when the league starts in April or what have you. So, like, right now, here's the thing. We got an opportunity. We need our best game on Sunday. I know that. So where are we at? I mean, there's so much room for growth in terms of, whether it's the scheme, whether it's us getting more comfortable with one another. I can't tell you what stage we're in, but I know this in terms of how I've talked to you guys the whole time. We got to be playing our best ball post-Thanksgiving. Like, we need our best game on Sunday. We need our best game on Sunday, our most physical game. our most sound execution. We got to start fast. We can't be worried about, anything that's not, we can't be worried about anything other than the Cowboys and trying to execute. And I would say in terms of the process, I mean, I know this, the guys try to get better every day and work to get better every day. That's a big part of my evaluation at the end of the year when I'm looking at, did we try to achieve that goal? And so, I mean, I can't tell you what stage of the process, to be honest with you, Jordan, but we do need our best. We need our best effort this week.
Last one here, Schwartz.
Hey, Patrick, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You've spent a year with Mike McCarthy. Do you have any insight into him as far as, what did he do to help you keep your career going? And also, do you see things in this Cowboy offense that maybe in the back of your head or the front of your head, you say, okay, I recognize that. Maybe I can do something with that.
Yeah, I mean, Coach McCarthy, I mean, I had a great time with him in Green Bay. We didn't win a lot of games, but, I had a good time. I had a lot of respect for him. He's a very smart man, intelligent, good football man. And then the big thing for me is, how he sees the run game in terms of the necessity of the run game, the necessity of a certain amount of carries, the necessity of or seeing the correlation between the run game and success. I mean, because you think about it, all those years from afar, Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy, you're thinking pass game. And then you go back to 2016 when we lost in the playoff game. It was because of the run game when they got in 20 personnel. It was the third quarter, and they hit a couple runs. They were backed up. I mean, it's the run game where I really think he stands out. And not to discredit what he knows about the passing game. I mean, that's obvious. But I think, you see the influence there in terms of now, Dallas has always been able to run the ball, but just, the timing of it, that's what stands out to me.
Thank you.
No problem.
Pat Leonard,
Thanks.
go ahead. I cut you off.
Oh, go
real
ahead.
quick, Coach. Pat Leonard has a quick follow-up.
I just got practice, Deion. We're good. No, I'm joking. I'm just good,
Hey, Pat, just your head coach said after the game on Sunday that you guys made defensive adjustments in the second half that worked, and he wished that you guys have gone to them earlier. Do you? What is the challenge in making adjustments early in a game? If what you've worked on all week, maybe the other team has countered it and it's not working, how do you feel like you've done that?
All right, I'm trying to dissect it. I think it's 3 questions. Let's just try to figure this out.
Do you think you're making adjustments quickly enough?
No, you're good. So adjustments, we gotta make adjustments as soon as possible. That's what we gotta do. And again, when we don't do that, that's on me. As far as the Baltimore game's the Baltimore game. Obviously, we didn't win, so obviously I didn't do a good enough job adjusting. And I can't speak for Joe, but for me, my thing is it's a constant game of adjustment. That's what we get paid to do. That's why, the pressure of being in the NFL, those guys are 1 in 32, whether it's the coordinator, the quarterback, however you look at it. It's my job to adjust, and I got to do a better job this week because I know this, Mike McCarthy, the OC, Adam Henry, all these guys over there, they're going to do a good job of, seeing what we do, adjusting to it, then we got to play the game back with them. I just got to do a better job and, get that information to players, and hopefully we execute at a high level and play our best game on Sunday.